for Parkies and me, my journey with Parkinson's. So the last 2 days have not been the best days of my life. Starting with, I was out and about with my husband in my lovely car. I have a car that's a few years old, and she's a beautiful golden Suzuki Vitara, and I love my car. So anyway, we were out and about doing a few things, and we were going to go and have a coffee and do a couple of more messages or errands, and then probably would have poodled off home. So we came round this corner, and there was a disabled parking space that I had often parked in. So I saw it there, came round the corner, and I don't know what happened, how it happened or why it happened, but instead of putting my foot on the brake, I put my foot on the accelerator, and we lurched forward up the curb and smashed into the building. As you can imagine, that was really frightening and certainly very unexpected, and neither I nor my husband could figure out why it happened. And I just kept sitting there saying, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I don't know what happened. I really don't know how it happened, and I was confused and I was in shock. I remember sitting there for quite a while holding on to the steering wheel and the car was still on, and somebody who'd been doing some gardens came over to see if I was okay, if we were both okay, and reached over and turned the ignition off. So that was probably quite a good thing to do, but I was definitely in a daze. I was definitely shocked and just frozen in time for a minute or two there, where I just didn't do anything. I think I was really in shock, and it was a really scary time. Again, I had no idea why this would have happened. It's certainly nothing that's ever happened before. And I think back to when I've heard of people doing a similar thing, an older person hitting the accelerator instead of the brake and ploughing through the window of a shop or something like that. And at the time, I could have been guilty of saying they're obviously not fit to drive anymore. They should have their license taken off them. And those thoughts are spinning through my head. This is one out of the box. I'm usually a really safe driver. At least I think I am. My husband seems to concur. He will still come for a drive with me and sit in the passenger seat, so that's something. So I've never thought that I have anything wrong with my driving. So this is completely out of character. But I have a fear that somebody, my doctor in particular, might turn around and say, well, now that you've done this, you won't be able to drive anymore, and it will ruin my life. I'm sorry, that's a little bit dramatic, but I have just been saying how wonderful my life is at the moment, how happy I am with life. I've made good friends at the pool that I go swimming at 3 times a week. I've made good friends at bowls. I'm friendly with some people that I play cards with. And I've just been saying how good life is and how happy I am to have moved to where we are. And then this happens. It seems to be that sometimes in life, when you're moving along happily and moving through life happily, that someone somewhere goes, oh no, that's too much happiness. We need to kind of knock that on the head, bring them down to earth, and all this happiness lark is just not okay. It's not going to continue. We have to take it down a peg or two. And so, yeah, it does seem sometimes that as soon as things seem to level out and all is happiness, that something unexpected comes to light. And so my little car accident happened. We are very grateful, though. It's a very busy piece of pavement. It's a very busy corner, and it would have been so easy for there to be somebody walking past that I could have hurt, or worse. There were people sitting, Specsavers, that was the building that we ploughed into, people sitting just on the other side of that wall who, if I'd hit any harder, could have been injured. So I am counting my blessings that I didn't hurt anybody, but yeah, it's not been a great time for me. So I sat in my car with some smoke coming out of the airbags and an injury on my hand from the airbags and on my legs. But apart from that, I didn't feel too bad. Maybe a little bit of seatbelt bruising, but it came off pretty lightly considering what had happened. And my husband, bless him, ended up with nothing in the way of injury, so I am very grateful for that as well. And so now we've had the police to the accident, we've got the insurance on board, and looks like we need to buy another car because this one is unlikely to be fixed. So it's all on, and it's approximately a week and a half till we go to the UK, so the timing is not great, but we're hoping that we get some approval of the insurance claim and can get the dealer to start looking for another car for us that we can replace my beloved Suzuki with. So that's the plan at the moment, and I must admit my biggest fear is that I get my license taken off me. And it feels like that would be unfair, but I'm just really fearful that my doctor will turn around and say, you've done this, therefore you need to have your license revoked. And people have said to me that other people who don't have Parkinson's have similar things happening. You know, they can be older, they can be younger. You know, these things can happen from time to time. And I am trying to take on those reassurances, but there's a huge fear in me that I will lose my license. And all the things that I want to do, like playing bowls and going to cards and going to friends' places and picking the granddaughters up to go for a coffee or lunch or something, all those things will go by the wayside if I can't drive. So I'm really quite worried about whether I can keep up my lifestyle that I've chosen in my retirement, or whether the rug has been literally pulled out from underneath me and I won't be able to be independent anymore. So I will be on tenterhooks until I see the doctor this week, at the end of the week, and I hope that he is kind. I hope he doesn't just go, you've got Parkinson's, you've had a crash, therefore I'm going to revoke your license. To me that wouldn't be fair when I've had like hours and hours and weeks and years of driving perfectly well with Parkinson's. And although I am having a bit more trouble with finding words or remembering things from time to time, I don't think I've changed all that much in the 5.5 years that I've had the diagnosis. So hoping, crossing every finger, every toe, that I will be able to keep my license and keep my lifestyle and continue being independent for much, much longer, so that I don't have to be fully dependent on my husband. And he wouldn't like that either, because he has a right and a need to do some things for himself as well, and I want to support him in that. So yeah, I'm feeling a bit vulnerable and a bit old. I can imagine people seeing me with my white hair sitting in a car that's crashed into a building, looking at me and going, well, the poor old dear probably shouldn't be driving anymore. And I hope that's not the case. But for any other older people who have had a crash like this, who I might have in my head judged unfairly, that it was just one of those things, that it's not because you're a little old white-haired lady that this happens. Other people have it happen too. And so if I have judged anybody in my past over a similar incident, I apologise. And you wouldn't know that I've judged because I may just say it in my head, but I know it in my heart that I've done it from time to time. And I'm sure people looked at me and made the same kind of snap judgment, unfairly, I feel, but I can understand how they might come to that conclusion. So yeah, I'm feeling a little bit sad. I loved my car, and I've gone and wrecked her, and we're going to have to replace her. So yeah, not long to go till our holiday, and I think after this I particularly would like to have a really nice, enjoyable holiday to make up for this problematic situation that we are faced with at the moment. So this is Sue for Parkies and me, my journey with Parkinson's. Hoping that the next post will be a happier one, and I'll have a new car, and I'll be getting ready for my overseas trip, and all will be happiness once more. So kia kaha, be brave, be strong, be you.